Good evening. Welcome to Silverado Middle School Back to School Night 2020. My name is Keith Johnson. I'm your student sixth grade math and science teacher. Anytime you need to contact me, please use Keith_Johnson at nvusd.org. I will get in contact back to you within 24 hours, usually a lot sooner. I'd like to take time to introduce myself a little more in depth. I'm a sixth grade math and science teacher here at Silverado, but I also teach seventh and eighth grade Avid. I've been teaching in the district for past 15 years, and I've taught at Silverado many years in the past. However, it's just recently, the past 2 years, that I've been teaching the math and science and Avid program with this group of faculty. A little personal information. I am married. I have two children, ages 20 and 24 years old. I was born here in Napa, and I also attended Silverado Middle School, which is pretty cool because coming on campus brings me back to when I was here and get a little nostalgic and see how the kids are experiencing it. It's kind of cool to see how fun it is for them. I'm a huge Bay Area sports fan, and I love to go fishing whenever possible. A little bit about the math and science content. I'd like to make you know that both of these books are available online. And for math, you also have consumables. The California math textbooks were sent home. They have course 1 and course 2, volumes 1 and 2. And some of the topics we're going to teach this year are ratios and rates. That's the current topic that we're on right now, chapter 1. Fractions, decimals, and percents. Compute with multi-digit numbers. Multiply and divide fractions, integers in the coordinate plane, expressions, equations, functions, and inequalities, and quite a bit more. There's actually, I think, 12 chapters in this book, a lot of material to cover. For sixth grade content, we use this text called the Amplify Science. It is only available online at this time. Kids have access to it, but I always show the screen and have them take notes, so they should be able to follow quite along. There are lots of units in this Amplify Science program. The current one that we're working on right now is called the microbiome. It's talking about small little things like cells and other organelles that are in a body. Other topics and units that we'll be learning are metabolism, thermal energy, ocean atmosphere and climate, weather patterns, Earth's changing climate, and much more. Now let's talk about what kind of work is done in the class and how it's done. There's synchronous learning, which is in class, and there's asynchronous learning, which is at home. During synchronous time, I give direct instruction. It means they're online with me, and I tell them what they need to know. We open the content together, the books, any instruction that I have for the day, and usually an introduction to these new concepts requires note-taking, so students will be required to take notes every time I ask them to. I mean, pretty much every time I teach, they need to write something down. So hopefully the students have some science books, notebooks, and math notebooks. After it's taught, we review text material that was taught for asynchronized work, review some homework before we move on to the next topic. With a lot of collaboration when students are actually in class. If I'm not talking, students are talking nonstop. Groups, pairs, it doesn't matter. As long as they're working together and they're discussing and learning together, it's an awesome experience. I love to hear children talk. In synchronized learning on the computer, it's a little more challenging. I have to put them in breakout rooms, and these breakout rooms are not as supervised as it would need it, and students have to be responsible to actually take the time to talk. Collaboration is key, though, so I'm really looking forward to using that a little more often. Class discussions, constantly talking about what we learn, answering questions, and that's one thing I really and strongly encourage your child to ask questions. If they don't understand something, raise your hand. That's the only time I can reach them. I can't walk around the room, see what their work's doing, answer questions for them. They have to raise their hand and ask me questions if they want to learn. I want to talk about the amount of time that we have for math this year. Each class is 48 minutes long. We have kids showing up late or having connection problems. So sometimes it's a little less. So time is very limited, and we only show up on Mondays and Thursdays for math. And for science, it's Thursdays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. Except that on Wednesdays, we see both classes, but they're only 25 minutes long. In the past, classes were usually 58 minutes, and I saw them 4 times a week. So you can tell that there's a lot less time to teach math this year. So any opportunity that I get, if science lessons are done, I'm going to ask them to take out their math book. During Wednesdays, taking out their math books. Going to try to fill in as much as possible as for that math content as I can. So don't be surprised if on Wednesdays we do quite a bit of reviewing, especially on the older lessons. As far as homework goes, which is called asynchronous learning, for math, pretty much every assignment that I assign in math will be assigned in the Google Classroom using a Kami worksheet. And Kami is a program or an application that allows students to open up these documents and write them using Kami tools. They can text, draw, everything. They can show their work on their homework and tell me what they know and what they don't know. Not just answers, but working out the problem. Each assignment's usually due the next class meeting, so if I give them an assignment on Monday, usually ask them to bring it back to class finished and assigned and turned in by Thursday. Same thing for science. If it's assigned on Tuesday, usually asking for it to be turned in and done by Friday. In addition to homework that's assigned from the Google in the Google Classroom, I also have them sign into a program called Dreambox. Dreambox is a program where they get to work on math skills at their own pace. Dreambox identifies what level they're at and it allows them to work on that material and progress. If they're on a lower level right now, Dreambox gives them an opportunity to get caught up. If they're on a higher level, Dreambox allows them the opportunity to explore and maybe learn some things before I even taught it. There's 20 minutes daily, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, which means 100 minutes a week, and 5 lessons need to be completed a week. I check it at the end of the week. If they accumulated 100 minutes and 5 lessons were done, I score them and I grade them based on their efforts. Links and instructions are found in the Google Classroom. For science homework, homework is assigned in the Google Classroom as well, usually with Google questions. They usually ask questions about the day's information that we learn in class. Simple questions like, what'd you learn? What'd you find interesting? And specific questions to see if they actually learned the topic that was most important. Should not take the students more than 5 or 10 minutes to do science homework because I also needed them to do their dream box each day, 20 plus another 10 or 15 for science. Usually it's quite a bit of work for them on top of their other classes. For math, might take them a little bit longer. Very important topic. How to support our students? We have students fill out planners every day. My planners is a document on a daily basis. We write down all the homework and all the assignments, important information. I put it on a document camera. Students ask to write it down, and I tell them, parents want to know what's going on, show them your planner. Let them know what assignments are due, what you're supposed to do for homework. So anytime you want to know, ask your student for their planner, and information should be written in it. Also can find this information in the Google Classroom. This is where you find the daily agenda. The daily agenda lists what assignment was taught, what page numbers, what was discussed, and any homework was listed there, any past assignments that were due, all the information, and it's written in a Google slideshow, so all the days are listed there. So if you missed a day or 2 days missing, you can go back to the Google agenda and all the slides are there from the past days. You can never have to worry about getting caught up because all the information's there. All you need to do is ask for help if you were absent by setting up a conference time with me. If you were concerned about their actual grade in class, I'm pretty good at keeping track of grades and putting them into the computer. Once I get assignments all turned in from everybody, I wait another day or something in case there's a few late ones, and then I start grading. Once it's graded, that evening or the next day, I put it in Aries. So if you go to Aries right now, you can see their current grade is, what assignments have been done, what their score was, and if there were any missing assignments. So I encourage you to check Aries constantly. You can also check the attendance records there as well. I encourage students to participate in class. As I mentioned earlier, question answers, really important. If they don't ask me questions, I can't answer what they need. If they're confused, don't understand something, really important that they go ahead and say, hey, Mr. Johnson, I need some help. Would you answer this question for me? I am tickled, pleased to answer all those questions for them. Not as long as we have time. If not, I'll say, hey, hang out a little bit. I'll answer your questions after class. Let me just get done what needs to be done real quick, and we'll take care of you. I also suggest that you provide a quiet place for them to work without any distractions. As I've been watching this year, all my students have been doing a really good job paying attention. However, once in a while, they're distracted by what's going on in the house. I can see them talking to somebody else. I can see them walking around every once in a while, and I have to call them back. I said, hey, you're in class right now, pay attention. And if they have other kids in the house and distracting them, I say, hey, let's be focused and let's make sure that we don't disrupt the class. It's really important to get them an opportunity to do so. And a clean workspace is important too. Talk to your student about school every day. It's another way to do it. Ask them not what they did in school, but what they learned. Students, if they learn something, are going to tell you, hey, I learned how to do this and this. It's very exciting. And you can be assured they're going to come back and say, this is what I learned. And if they don't have anything they learned, let's identify what it is and what they need help with. That's about all I really need to talk to you about tonight. If there's any other questions you may have, really appreciate if you would reach out to me. Thank you for listening. If you need to contact me, you can email me at keith_johnson@nvusd.org, or you can contact me through Parent Square. Or, of course, well, there is a link. There's a back to school question for the parents link that's provided where you found this video. If you click on that, answer any question you want. Make sure you provide me with an email so I can get back to you, and I'd be glad to communicate with you. Again, thank you for coming. I look forward to meeting you one day in person. Have a good evening.